We have some breaking news to share with you. Italian fashion designer Giorgio Armani has died.
Stop everything, because today the fashion world is in shock. The king of style himself, Giorgio Armani, has passed away at the age of 91. The man who dressed Hollywood, who defined elegance for nearly half a century, has left us. And the world is buzzing. This is not just another obituary. This is the end of an era. Armani wasn't simply a designer. He was an institution, a cultural force who reshaped not only the red carpet, but also the very definition of modern elegance. His death is sending tremors across Milan, Paris, Hollywood, and beyond. And today we're diving deep into the rise, reign, secrets, regrets, and glamorous gossip that surrounded Armani's legendary life and his final farewell.
Speaking for all the guys in Hollywood, I want to thank you, Mr. Armani, for paying attention to us, loosening up our look, and making menswear look easy. If there is reincarnation, I want to come back as Armani.
So grab your coffee, your champagne, or whatever fuels your celebrity gossip habit, because this is going to be a journey through the glittering halls of fashion history and the whispers that always followed Armani wherever he went. On September 4th, 2025, Giorgio Armani died peacefully at his home in Milan. He was surrounded by close family members and his longtime confidant, Leo Dell'Orco, the man who had been by his side for decades, both in business and, many believe, in life. For years, Armani was known in Italy as Re Giorgio, King Giorgio, a designer elevated to the status of cultural monument. His passing was more than the loss of a fashion icon. It was the closing of a chapter in global culture. The Armani Group confirmed the news in an emotional statement, and within moments the world reacted. Tributes poured in across social media, turning timelines into digital memorials filled with black and white images of his greatest creations and heartfelt words of admiration. Italy prepared a farewell worthy of a monarch. The Armani Teatro space in Milan, the same venue where his shows had once stunned audiences, was transformed into a public chamber of mourning on September 6th and 7th. Thousands of admirers, from fashion editors to celebrities to everyday citizens, were expected to line up to pay their respects. The space itself reflected Armani's aesthetic. Understated, refined, elegant without being excessive, black drapes, white lilies, and the silence of grief transformed the theater into a sanctuary of remembrance. After the public viewing, a private funeral took place, intimate and exclusive. Exactly as Armani had always wanted things to be, classy to the very end. Milan became a runway of remembrance, solemn yet glamorous, proving that even in mourning, fashion carries its own unique style. To understand the weight of this moment, we must rewind to the very beginning. Giorgio Armani was born in Piacenza, Italy, in 1934. His childhood was marked by the hardships of World War II, an experience that instilled in him both resilience and discipline. Initially, Armani did not set out to be a designer. He studied medicine for a time, but quickly discovered that the hospital world wasn't for him. He abandoned medicine and instead entered retail, first as a window dresser at La Rinascente in Milan. His natural eye for style eventually led him to a position at Nino Cerruti, where he refined his skills in tailoring and began developing the minimalist, sleek aesthetic that would later define his career. The pivotal moment came in 1975 when Armani, alongside his partner Sergio Galeotti, launched his own brand. That partnership was both professional and personal, and together they revolutionized fashion. Armani introduced unstructured suits that freed men from the stiff, padded silhouettes of the time. His designs were fluid, confident, and modern. For women, his tailored jackets became symbols of empowerment, as powerful as they were elegant. Armani's clothes weren't just garments, they were statements. He gave both men and women a way to project confidence without shouting, to radiate sex appeal without excess. By the 1980s, the Armani empire was unstoppable. Hollywood embraced him wholeheartedly. Richard Gere's role in American Gigolo, dressed entirely in Armani, became an iconic moment in cinema, forever linking Armani with cinematic seduction. Julia Roberts wore Armani when she won her Oscar, solidifying his dominance on the red carpet. Soon, the world's biggest names, Lady Gaga, Beyoncé, Leonardo DiCaprio, Kate Blanchett, and countless others, trusted Armani to make them look unforgettable. His philosophy was clear. The clothes should never overpower the person, they should elevate them. Armani himself put it simply, "I aim to make people feel comfortable in their clothes, not trapped by them." Yet those clothes carried an aura of authority that no one else could replicate. The Armani empire was not limited to fashion. It expanded into perfumes, cosmetics, accessories, furniture, homeware, hotels, restaurants, even sports. His EA7 sports line outfitted Olympians. His Armani hotels in Milan and Dubai became synonymous with luxury. His fragrances lined bathroom counters across the globe. Financially, Armani's success was staggering. By 2024, his company was generating more than 2.3 billion euros annually, and his personal fortune was estimated at over $12 billion. And unlike most other designers, Armani never sold his company to conglomerates like LVMH or Kering. He remained the sole shareholder, fiercely guarding his independence for nearly 50 years. This refusal to sell out made him both admired and envied in the industry. He maintained total creative and business control, making Armani a rare empire still ruled by its founder. But Armani's personal life was always shrouded in mystery. He never married, never had children, and rarely opened up about his private affairs. Gossip has long circled around his closest relationships. His bond with Sergio Galeotti, his co-founder and partner, was deep until Galeotti's untimely death from AIDS in 1985, a loss that profoundly marked Armani's life. In the years that followed, one name consistently appeared in whispers: Leo Dell'Orco. Leo was more than just a colleague. He was Armani's anchor, his confidant, his right-hand man. Their partnership blurred the line between personal and professional. While Armani never openly defined their relationship, the fashion world quietly acknowledged Leo as the man who kept Armani's life balanced behind all the glamour. In the final chapter of his life, Armani dropped the veil for just a moment. In his very last interview, published on August 29, 2025 with the Financial Times, he admitted to his greatest regret: "I worked too much, and I didn't spend enough time with friends and family." It was a confession as raw as it was human. A man who built an empire from fabric and imagination, who dressed Hollywood royalty and world leaders, who turned his name into a synonym for elegance, confessed at the end that he wished he had loved more, laughed more, lived more outside the relentless world of fashion. The tributes that followed his death were overwhelming. Donatella Versace wrote, "The world has lost a giant today." Cindy Crawford, who walked countless Armani runways, called him a true artist and a gentleman. Julia Roberts described him as a magician who made me feel invincible. Martin Scorsese honored him as the man who dressed our dreams. Even Italy's Prime Minister Giorgio Armani weighed in, calling him an icon, a tireless worker who elevated Italian excellence. From fellow designers like Valentino to megastars like Lady Gaga, social media became a tidal wave of grief, transforming into a living digital memorial. But beyond the mourning lies the billion-dollar question: what happens to the Armani empire now? Armani's refusal to sell during his lifetime was legendary, but the future is uncertain. Insiders claim he left behind a detailed succession plan that involves both Leo Dell'Orco and his close family members, his sister, nieces, and nephew. Others speculate that the brand may finally merge with a luxury giant, sparking one of the biggest power shifts fashion has ever seen. The whispers in Milan are growing louder, and the eyes of the fashion world are fixed on who will inherit Armani's crown. Armani's legacy, however, cannot be reduced to business moves or balance sheets. He was a cultural architect. He transformed red carpets from gaudy spectacles into showcases of grace and sophistication. He made Hollywood glamorous in a way that was timeless. He set standards that designers still chase today. His influence extended far beyond fashion, into cinema, politics, sports, and even diplomacy. Presidents wore his suits, royals chose his gowns, NBA players donned his tuxedos. His mantra of "less is more, but less can be everything" was not just a style statement, it was a worldview. He believed in clothes that enhanced, not overshadowed, the wearer. That is why celebrities adored him. Armani never made the dress the star, he made the person unforgettable. His death feels particularly heavy because Armani represented a generation of fashion titans, Valentino, Versace, Karl Lagerfeld, who built empires through iron will and unshakable vision. With Armani's passing, it feels as if that golden era has finally drawn to a close, and yet his fingerprints remain everywhere. Every sleek gown, every razor-sharp suit, every perfume spritz before a night out carries his DNA. His style is woven into the fabric of modern life itself. Even though he confessed that he worked too much, it is precisely that devotion to work that guarantees his immortality. So here we are. Giorgio Armani, the king of fashion, the man who gave us elegance without effort, has taken his final bow, but his legacy is eternal. From Milan to Hollywood, from red carpets to presidential summits, his influence continues to define what power, beauty, and sophistication look like. Rest in power, King Giorgio. Your reign will never fade. And to all the fashion lovers and gossip seekers out there, stay tuned because the story isn't over. Who takes the throne? Who dares to keep the empire steady? And what will fashion look like without its king? One thing's for sure, the tea is only getting hotter.